One of the most important battles in the history of northern India. How did the founder of the Mughal dynasty, Babur, expand his influence in the northern Indian subcontinent? Hello and welcome to UPSC History View. Today, let's learn about the First Battle of Panipat. Panipat is a level plain suitable for cavalry movements about 50 miles or 80 kilometers north of Delhi. The First Battle of Panipat was fought in 1526. An overwhelmingly outnumbered Mughal force prevailed at Panipat. This was due to the resourcefulness of its commander Babur, demonstrated in his use of field fortifications and his instinctive sense of the value of the firepower of gunpowder. The victory enabled him to lay the foundations for the Indian Mughal Empire. A descendant of Timur, Babur became a refugee at the age of 12 when the Uzbeks seized Samarkand in 1494. At age 15, he was back with his own warband. He laid siege to his home city but without success. Undaunted, he headed south into Afghanistan. Capturing Kabul in 1504, Babur made it his base for raids into Central Asia's Transoxania region. Increasingly, however, Babur found himself tempted by the unimaginable wealth of India. In the years that followed, he mounted a series of incursions into the Punjab. These territories had for 3 centuries belonged to a Muslim empire, the Delhi Sultanate. Although its prestige had been badly damaged by Timur's triumph of 1398, it remained a powerful presence in northern India. At this time, the Sultanate was under the control of an Afghan elite. A capricious and divisive ruler, Sultan Ibrahim Lodi, had alienated many of his nobles. It was indeed a local lord in Hindustan who, in 1523, invited Babur to undertake a full-scale invasion. Although Babur clearly was attracted by the idea of invasion, he was in no hurry. His army numbered only 10,000 men, so he made sure that they were all well equipped and superbly trained before committing to his assault on Hindustan. He took the time to train them in the use of gunpowder weapons while making sure their skills in traditional steppe warfare were not neglected. Only at the end of 1525 did he embark on his invasion. Babur's army swept aside the Afghan force that marched out to meet it, so Sultan Ibrahim himself led a second army into the field, taking up a position at Panipat to the north of Delhi. On 12th April 1526, Babur found himself confronted with an enormous multitude, 100,000 men and 1,000 elephants. Unfazed, Babur set out about constructing an impromptu fortress on the open plain, tying 700 carts together and fronting them with earthen ramparts as protection for his cannon and for his musketeers with their matchlocks. As the days passed and the hesitant Sultan Ibrahim stayed his attack, Babur was able to consolidate his position still further. He dug trenches and felled trees, constructing barriers to the left and right, while leaving gaps through which his cavalry could charge. On 21st April, Ibrahim finally made his move. His troops surged forward, only to be brought up short by Babur's fortifications. As they milled about in confusion, the Mughal cavalry came wheeling in from the wings. The Sultan's force was effectively surrounded. At this point, Babur's gunners opened up their bombardment from behind their barrier, firing at point-blank range into this close-packed mass. Unable either to advance or retreat, the Afghan army was cut down cruelly. Not only was Babur now the undisputed ruler of Hindustan, but also the road to Delhi and the domains of the Sultanate lay wide open. On the basis of this victory, he was able to establish a glorious new ruling line. In honor of his founder's Timurid origins and of the Mongol antecedents of Timur himself, this was to be known as the Mughal or Mughal dynasty. This victory marked the beginning of the Mughal Empire in India. Thank you for listening to this discussion on the First Battle of Panipat. For more such discussions, get the UPSC Practice app from the App Store.